So the idea is that back in 2019, everybody at Marvel felt like it was way too soon, and at that time, Hugh Jackman still felt like he was retired and did not want to come back. That didn't change till a couple years later. Ryan Reynolds revealed he pitched Kevin Feige 20 plus different versions of the movie, some of them super low budget, some of them way crazier. We actually heard about some of them because there were a couple versions without Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Because they actually started developing the movie, they hired writers before Hugh Jackman had signed on to do the actual movie. And in one of the early versions of the movie, this was still when Jonathan Majors was playing Kang. They were planning on doing Avengers 5 as a version of Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars was going to be based more on the Kang plot too. Within the larger multiverse, the Council of Kangs was going to be acting a little bit more like the Beyonders, going around destroying universes, and the reason why a lot of the variants wound up pruned on the Void, because the TVA had basically turned good and stopped pruning a lot of variants after Loki Season 2. Was because of the Council of Kangs. They were trying to save people from these universes that were being destroyed, so that's how they wound up on the Void in that version of the movie. In that version of the movie was going to be a more direct setup for Avengers Secret Wars with all the different variants like the Multiverse Avengers team, with the Void being more like a setup for Battle World from Secret Wars. Ryan Reynolds actually said that he fought with Kevin Feige, like not literally fight, but he actually pushed back on Marvel trying to make it more of an MCU movie tied to a bunch of other movies. The way he called it, a commercial for other movies, like make your movie a commercial for other movies. And what he wanted to do was make more of a love letter to the classic X-Men Fox movies. So that's why in the movie you only see some light MCU references in jokes, but really it's more about the Fox X-Men characters in those variants. There's only one scene that Kevin Feige asked Ryan Reynolds to change in the movie, and it was for an Iron Man reference at the end of the film when he confronts Paradox and they act like they're going to kill him until he tells them what's going on with Cassandra Nova and the Time Ripper and how to destroy it.
The immortal words of Anthony Alejandro Stark, Anthony Penelope Stark, Anthony Soprano Stark, Anthony Ingrid Shart, Anthony Edwards from ER.
Ryan Reynolds implies that the reason why Kevin Feige wanted them to take it out is because he felt like it was too much friendly fire, quote unquote. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I do think that the Batman joke that they replaced it with is just as funny, if not funnier, so it gets way more meta because you're referencing DC movies in a Marvel movie, which they did during Deadpool too. Yes, it would have been cool to have some more Iron Man stuff in the movie, but I understand why they took it out. Also, probably the reason why Kevin Feige didn't want too many Iron Man references in the movie just in general is because they were doing so much with him during Avengers 5 Doomsday as this new version of Doctor Doom. I already talked about the scene with Happy Hogan. He actually said that there were a couple other versions of this scene, not just the versions with Iron Man himself being in here trying to interview Deadpool for a spot on the Avengers, with them wisecracking back and forth. But for a while, they were actually going to have Nick Fury here interviewing Deadpool for a spot on the Avengers. We haven't really seen Samuel L. Jackson in any of the Marvel productions since Secret Invasion, so we'll see what they do with him during Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. There are a bunch more deleted scenes that they released. There's a scene of Paradox being taken to task by Hunter B-15 before the events of the movie pick up, like before he captures Deadpool and the plot actually starts. What's happened since the end of Loki Season 2 is that Hunter B-15 is in more of a managerial position, and she's managing Paradox, which they explain is like a completely separate division inside the TVA, which is why everything looks different from what it looked like during Loki Season 2. If you remember the cityscape that they showed of the actual TVA, like the wider TVA, it's just a huge facility. So this is just meant to be like a vastly different place that we never visited during Loki Season 1 or Loki Season 2. And the idea of this scene is that Hunter B-15 is upset with him because he's requisitioned too many assets for what his job is supposed to be, basically watching universes slowly decay over time.